Hello everybody, Deanna here from Dream of Crafts. Coming to you today. Thought we'd do this this little folio. This is very simple. It's kind of like a one-day event folio. It holds 14 photos and has journaling cards in it. It's closed with a ribbon closure. It has some chipboard inserts in it just to create some sturdiness. You have a waterfall. This waterfall holds 13 pictures. You've got 12 on the waterfall itself. Oops, sorry. And then one for the back. And you can do this, you can put decorative cardstock on here or leave it just the regular cardstock. It's totally up to you. I've got a little magnetic elephant there on this one, and then this gatefold opens up and it has two pockets with your, you could put even smaller photos on these if you'd like, or journal on those, and then this holds another picture too, and then you also have space for either more photos again on the smaller tabs. You could even probably put a photo right here if you'd like, so it potentially could hold more photos. They would just be cut down. You got the two pockets, and then this flap folds in. So basically, if you didn't want to put any decorative cardstock on, you could just do the outside and the back. And that is it. Just a nice, quick, simple folio. So today we're going to start with, excuse me, this cardstock. This one here is bubble gum. I think this is American Crafts cardstock, so it's a nice weight. It's a textured cardstock. And then, so this is the bubble gum, and then this one is Geyser. So it's not quite a mint, but it's a very nice color. Also going to be working with Kaiser Crafts Fairy Garden collection. This was the last year's collection. I have this piece, and then I have also the piece with the tags in it, and then it has this back. I have a couple other pieces of paper that I might throw in there that are not Kaiser Craft, but this is going to be my front piece here. So let's start with the base of the folio. And we're going to use pink for the base. We need to cut this at 9 inches. So we're going to get this at 9 inches there. Oops. I'm going to score this on the 12-inch side. Decorative cardstock outside. I'll do it this way. Alright. We're going to score at 5 inches. 5.5. 10.5. And 11. You're going to fold and burnish all your score lines. All right. So this is going to be on our right. This little 1-inch section here is going to be all right, and you end up with 1/2-inch gussets, just like that. So before we go any further, I want to put on my ribbon closure so we don't end up forgetting that. So with that, I'm going to flip it over, and then I'm going to measure out where I feel I got plenty, so I have a nice tie on there. just like that. And we're going to take our lighter with this, and we're just going to sear that shut. This is satin ribbon, so we want to sear that shut. We're going to pick the middle, as close as we can get there. And we do not want to go past this line here. Okay? So we're going to maybe just fold that in even, so we don't take a chance. Grab some other score tape here. There we go. All right. Now this is 1/8 inch score tape, which is going to be funny because this is going to get closed up in there. So I'm just going to eyeball the center. Does not have to be perfect. There we go. Like I said, this is just going to hold our ribbon in place until we can get our cardstock on there. All right, that's about my center there. There. Just like that. Oops, looks like I'm off a little bit. Oh. You know what? I'm just going to cut it down. No, let me glue that. Put another piece of score tape on there. Okay. Score tape was a little stronger than I thought. I think that's going to be plenty of ribbon to tie. Let's see. Do a test here to make sure. I might have to just recut another piece of paper. But you know what? This is what this is about. You make mistakes and you correct them. Oh, I think we'll be all right. Okay. So we're gonna. This is on this little flap here's on our right. We're just gonna flip her right over. Now for our decorative cardstock, we're going to cut this one, and I want this. This panel here, of course, is 9 inches tall, and the panel itself is 5 inches. So we're going to cut our first piece of cardstock at 8 7/8 by 4 7/8. So we're going to cut this down 8 7/8. And I want this side here by 4 7/8. I have all kinds of trimmers, but this is my newest one. Sometimes works good for the desktop, so hoping that's what will be alright. So now we gotta be careful, because when we turn this over, we want to make sure that we have this upright. So we're actually working on the left outside panel, but we got it to our right. So we always want to make sure we have our directions going the right direction. We have a nice little edge there all the way around. So we got that piece. Our second piece will be the same. I see I have a little hangover here, so get that off of there. Just a little there. So we're going to cut this one also. Should be the same. That one. 8 7/8 by, which we already cut, by 4 7/8. Okay. There we go. So that's all we have left of that piece of paper. And this piece. Okay. Set those aside. I'm going to put this one on the right here. And I like using glue, our glitter glue. Using Distress Ink by Ranger, Antique Linen, just to give it a little. You can probably even use pinks or whatever color you wanted on this if you wanted. I just kind of like the vintagey look of this. Just kind of glue this right down here. Make sure you don't go over your score lines there. There we go, perfect. Okay, next one. This actually comes together quite quickly. This is a real simple one, but like I said, it's perfect for like a one-day event, maybe a birthday party, or like the other one, just a day trip to the zoo or a museum. Use it instead of a birthday card as a, you know, part of their birthday gift. And sometimes you don't need a whole, you know, great big album full of photos. You just need just a few just to remember the event later on. And so that's what these are kind of designed for. Now you can put a strip here, and I think I'm going to do that just to cover up that. Okay. We already have a 9-inch piece cut, so let's just cut. This is a 1/2-inch gusset, so let's just cut that at 3/8 just to cover that, help cover that ribbon. Because then we already have our 9-inch side. So we're going to cut this at 3/8. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Ooh. Makes it a little harder to hang on to. Let's see what we got here. Whoops. Oh, then I just took my. Well. There we go. Let's try again. There we go. I got a glare. 1, 2, 3. There's my 1/2 inch. 3/8. Oh my goodness, Deanna. Hoping this turns out pretty straight. I have such a glare I can't hardly see on here. 1, 2, 3. Right there. Let's see if that's straight enough. And I would use my other cutter, but I don't think that's going to be any easier to. Oh no, that's way too big. Let's try it from this end. There we go, that'll work. Sorry about that. It's like 7 o'clock in the morning here, and it's still dark out. So I just have my overhead light on, and it is giving a terrible glare on the top of my desk here. So I'm still doing the drink my coffee, wake up mode here. Get up at 5:30. So, all right. Now for the inside, we need to cut our waterfalls and we need to add our chipboard center. So what I've got here is a 2" by 9" piece of chipboard. I always have these little scraps left over from when I work on mini albums, and this makes it nice to utilize those. So I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of my leftover pink here. I'll cut this down to 9 inches by 2 inches. And we're going to glue that all on at once. 9 inches. I'm not sure if how much I'm liking this new. I mean, I like the cutting aspect of it, but I'm not sure I like having this way up here all the time. We will have to see how that goes. But cutting wise, it's very nice. It's got a wire in here, so it makes it really easy for you to see where you're cutting. Creates almost like a shadow on there for you. So I'm going to go around the edge of my chipboard, the pink here, and we're going to have to do this again for the other edge, just to make sure. But we'll get the outside edge of that now. Now I do need my bigger cut board, so I got to cut this down too. I got to cut this down on my bigger. Well, this is 9 inches too. Glue this on top. And it doesn't matter. It's going to be hidden. Both sides are going to be hidden, so it doesn't matter which side you glue on. Oh, my cardstock, decorative part, my textured part of my cardstock up anyway. And if you don't have textured cardstock, then it really ain't going to matter. And it's not the end of the world if you don't put your texture part up, if you do, but I just like the looks of the textured cardstock. So now this is going to completely cover this. Get that on there. Let that sit and dry a little bit before we cut that. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut this down all at once instead of doing all separate pieces. We're going to cut it down all at once. We need 2 7/16" wide and 1 13/16" wide. Oh, that's not right. Yes. Yes. 7/16, 2 7/16" wide and 1 13/16" wide. And that is because we want to stay just on the inside of our 1/2 inch, and because this is going to be here, we need to keep this one narrower so when it folds it's not bumping up and trying to push that. We want to still keep that free. So this will be smaller, so it actually will miss that, but it's going to give this and these two some stability. And you don't have to add this if you don't want to. It's just I like the added stability for my folio. But if you do not want to add that chipboard, you don't have to. So I'm going to cut these again, 2 of them at 7/16 and 1 at 13/16. Sorry, I gotta count all these out here. Maybe just go to a half and just go a smidge underneath a half. And of course my cutter did not cut it all the way. I'm still here. I'm just trying to cut. So there's the half. Just under there. But this isn't the easier way to do it. I thought this was the easier way to do it. I didn't want to, I wanted to kind of do it so that you kind of get a real-time idea of about how long this takes. But this might extend the time of video out too much. So we'll have to see. Sometimes it's nice to prepare ahead, but then you don't get an idea of what the true time is. Let's see what we got here. All right. So we're going to put that like that. Okay. So let's finish doing the edges here. This one here. We're going to glue this down. Now, like I said, this one is for the 1-inch little strip there, but it's cut smaller to allow for that bend there. So we're going to bring this up to the edge, the outside edge, so it gives us plenty of room there for this to work like it's supposed to. There we go. All right. And then our 1-inch strips here. These are for our 1/2 inch. And these little ink pads here are called cat's eyes. I have all different kinds of ink pads, but these are the ones that are right actually on my desk facing me. The ones I use the most, because sometimes you only need just a little bit. All right, and we're going to kind of center this, staying away from those score lines. You don't want to interfere with the score lines. Now this should fold up just right. Yep, perfect. And we got another one here. And you end up with a little strip like that. So, oops, almost forgot. It's probably not going to be that visible, but it might be. All right, cap on again. Like I said, you can skip this stack altogether if you feel you don't need it. If you don't have chipboard, you can use cereal boxes or macaroni, well, no, not macaroni and cheese boxes. Those wouldn't be big enough. But, and then what you do is you just cut a couple of them instead of just the, this is medium weight chipboard, and then just glue a couple pieces of your cereal box together. See, and that creates a nice stable square there. And you can glue there. All right. Now, for our inside cover, I'm going to, let's cut our waterfall. You can cover this if you want. Not much of it is going to show. You're going to have just a tiny, tiny bit on each edge and then underneath. But I don't necessarily need it. But for video purposes, let's go ahead. So for those, we need the same size as we did for the outside. 4 7/8 wide by 8 7/8 high. So, your inside and your outside panel measurements are exactly the same. So 8 7/8 inch high. By 4 7/8 wide. Yeah, I don't know. And I thought the smaller board would be nice. Okay. Again, you want to stay away from those edges. Do a test fit. This paper here is, well, it's an older paper. Sugar Plum by My Mind's Eye. And I buy a lot of single sheets of cardstock. If I like it, I will pick up several pieces if it catches my eye. So I have a lot of single sheets from different companies, and I just mix and match them. Because sometimes you can just find the right color. It's got a pretty stripe on the back too. You can use tape if you like. I find the glue gives me a little bit more work time. Not much, because this is a quick drying glue, but it does give me a little more work time. Again, try to stay away from your score lines there. And you are not going to have a lot of this show when you put your waterfall down. But the bottom of it will. And it's pretty. There we go. Okay, so let's add our gatefold. Now I think I want to do the gatefold in this. So for our gatefold, we need where are my gatefold measurements? 5 inches by 4 7/8. But let me double check. 5 inches by 4 7/8. Whoops, sorry. Inches. So we're going to go 5 inches first. So we got 5 inches high. You can go just a tiny, tiny bit under 5 inches. 4 7/8 wide. I did that wrong. I did that wrong. See? They have to be 5 1/2 wide. 5.5 wide, because we need to score them at a 1/2 inch. So I need 5 inches wide. Maybe I might get away with that. Yeah. All right, let me see here. Okay, I did have it right. Scared myself. Thought I looked at the wrong thing. So now these are close in size, so we're going to have to keep track. So that's your 4 7/8. So you're going to score on your 5 inch side. All right. So 5 inches. By 4 7/8. So on your 5 inch side, score at 4 1/2 inches. 4 1/2 inch. If you want to score at a 1/2 inch, you can. And burnish, burnish, that's 1. Again, your 5 inch side, score at a 1/2 inch. Score and burnish. I like working with this American craft cardstock. It's pretty nice cardstock. I don't have much trouble with it breaking too often. Usually works pretty good. Alright. So what we're going to do is add these right to that. Double check, make sure you're staying away from that line because this has got to bend up. So again, you can use tape if you want. So when you put this on, your score line is going to go up to the top there and keep that left edge right at the edge of your left side. Nice and straight. Looks good. Perfect. And this one's just going to be the opposite. Now you will have a gap there, which is fine. You could make it a little tighter on there. I kind of like the gap so it's not catching. But if you wanted to close that up, you could a little bit. So we're going to do the same thing. Tape or glue. Whoops. Glue underneath there. Don't want that. Bring it to your bottom edge, left side, line it up, and press it down. Perfect. All right, perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay. All right. So we want a magnet on here, because we're going to add a decorative element on the top. We have these decorative chipboard pieces. I was looking at a couple different ones. It's kind of pretty. Basically what it's going to do is just going to hold that on there. Okay, we'll go with that one. That one's kind of pretty too. Yeah, let's go with this one, I think. That kind of match up. Alright. There's not going to be a lot in here. There's just going to be a pocket. So, alright, so let's add set a magnet to this side here. And we'll just have to cut a piece of cardstock or something to cover that magnet up. So it doesn't show when we glue that down. We'll just kind of cover that. It's not going to be that noticeable. Put the magnet on there. Alright. Another piece of tape. Another magnet. So, line you up. Okay. Ooh, okay. Like. That's pretty good. Okay. See? Okay, so that is our little tab. Get these in there, get these on my line. Okay. Now we can cut some decorative cardstock for that. And I did have, this one kind of matches too. Now this is Pebbles. Twinkle Twinkle. And since our, my glue up is just drying there. These are 4 7/8, so we're going to need 4 3/4 wide. Actually high, because this is actually a gatefold. So 4 3/4 high. So let's get that cut. And this paper doesn't really matter. It's not directional. So 4 3/4. Oops. Four and 3/4. Just a nice little edge to go around again. 4 3/4 high, and these are 4 1/2. So we're going to do 4 3/8 wide for each side. So, ooh, 4 3/8. Yeah, this is going to be. This is going to be a tricky trimmer. I can see it. Alright, so do a test fit. Make sure everything's looking good. We got a nice little border around there. Perfect. And you don't have to ink your edges if you don't want. And I sometimes do, and I sometimes don't. Depends on the project I'm working on. But I think with this paper, it adds a nice antique kind of look to it. It's not much. I mean, you probably can't even tell the difference. Much difference on camera. Make sure we got these facing in the right direction. All right. The star pattern on the back is pretty too. But. Okay. Give yourself that 1/16 of an inch edge. There you go. Number tape. And give a little extra touch of glue right there, right around that magnet. I don't know if I'm quieter today because I'm still trying to wake up or what, but I got my granddaughter coming this morning, so, and I'll have her until this afternoon, so I figured I better get my video done this morning before she gets here. Make sure you got a good seal by where that magnet is. kind of close to the edge because I used the skinnier thing. But if you use a wider one, then you could have them put it back further away from that edge. If you could stay a little bit away, the better. Okay, there's that. Now we're going to glue that to that side, but let's cover this with a little piece of paper, and it doesn't matter what. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw around this. Just kind of draw around the edge of this. And then do a rough cut. It doesn't have to be exact. Like that. It does not have to be exact, but we want to kind of get close here. And if you're on the inside, that's even better. It's not an exact science, and if we need to retrim it, we can. Just a quick little. All I'm trying to do is get it so it kind of covers that magnet so it's not sticking out there like a sore thumb. Let's see what we got here. Yeah. Maybe just a little bit more over here. I think that'll work. And you could take just a little tiny piece of white and cover that. It wouldn't matter. Just more for eye candy than anything, you know? It's not a necessary thing. Oops, let me trim that down a little bit here. Come on. There. Perfect. There we go. Oh, there it is. So now I'm going to give this a little bit of tape here just to kind of give it a grab. Plus my glue. Go, and I want to put my glue. I'm kind of hold my finger there. So down here, put my tape. Oh, not bad. Not bad. Just, whoops, sorry about that. I'm out of frame. Sorry. Just trying to check, make sure, and I only had just a little bit of tiny glue there that was out of. Got on there, of course. Okay. Now we can add our decorative cardstock on the inside of this. And our pockets. So our pockets, we are going to cut, maybe we'll add let's pull this in. So our pockets are going to be 2 inches. Up and get it to the side here a second. 2 inches by 6 inches. So let's see here. Let's see. Let's cut our and we need 2 inch sections, and we need 2 of those. These are our gatefold pockets. 1, 2. These we are going to score. ½ inch and 5.5. Did I? No, I did not. Okay. Again, your second piece, ½ inch, 5.5. Fold and burnish. Fold and burnish. Now I did not create a bottom fold on that. What we're going to do is we're just going to add a little bit of glue down there to hold that. So you're going to have a left pocket and a right pocket, and that needs to be adjusted because they are just a little bit smaller. So let me make a pencil mark. Again, this is not the end of the world. Just a miscalculation. Make a little pencil mark. Grab your scoreboard again. Put this back on there. And then just come to your pencil line there and rescore. Fold it. That little extra 1/16 of an inch on the inside there is not going to hurt anything. Again, move it to your scoreboard, score it, refold it, reburnish, and you'll just have a little tiny bit left underneath there. It's not bad. Erase your pencil mark. You can put pencil mark on the back too, then you don't have to erase it. There we go. Let's double check it again. What do we got now? Hopefully. There we go. Oh, actually goes on here. Ugh. I tell you, I definitely need more coffee. All right. So, a little bit here. The edges there. I don't know how the weather is by you guys, but oh my gosh, we have been fighting some bitter cold in Michigan. It is been below 0, but you know what? That is Michigan weather. All right, so on here on your flap, little bead right along the bottom there. This is just going to hold a couple tags, 2-3 tags, journaling tags, or you could actually use them for some more photos. And you can keep this as simple as you want or add as much decorative paper as you want. It is totally up to you. Totally up to you. Do the same here. We're going to do this edge. Little bead along the bottom there. I can get my own fingers out of the way. Okay. Make sure you have your pocket edge facing out. Right there. go. There. Now we can do the centerpiece. Let's see, I think and a stripe. We add that stripe. That's too small. Okay. Let's pull in this stripe here. This is also Pebbles. It's Bunny Love. And we need a section for 4 7/8 by 8 7/8. 4 7/8 by 8 7/8. Our last one of that. Okay. Four 7/8. Gotcha. Right there, right there, right there. And you don't have to add any more paper. I like to cover this spot because it does have those it does have these on the side. So I do like to cover that. But you don't have to put a piece there if you don't want. We're going to center this like that. And I lost my pen. I'm good for that. Oh well. Gotta get one of those fancy pens for my bottle, or make one. Something that stands out a little more. Now all of these, this section here, and your flips, excuse me, all hold the standard 4x6 photo easily. There we go. Yeah. All right. That section, other than the tags, is done. Let's move on. Now we need our waterfalls. So we're going to cut those. I'll set you aside. I think I'm going to alternate between the pink and the bubblegum pink and the geyser. So I need 3 of each. Each one measures where did I put that? Oh my gosh. 4.5 by 7 inches. Telling you, people. 4.5 by 7. So let's go ahead and cut our 7. Right there. Four and a half. I do not like this scoreboard for this type of work. 1, 2. This, we've got it right in our hand. This is 7. 3.5. There, we've got 2 tags. One for this side, one for this side. Boom. Alright. Let's 2. I need one more. And I don't think this is going to work. Alright. Yes, it will. Perfect. Alright, so let's cut this 7 inches long. So it's only going to take one sheet. 4.5. One 12 by 12 sheet will give us 3. Perfect. Let's do this again. We're going to cut our 7. Four and a half. Tag is 7, so go to 3.5. Cut it in half. There's tag number 2. Tag number 2. Take this 7 inches. 4.5 inches. There we go. 6 waterfalls. Perfect. Scoreboard. This is my original scoreboard, and man, it looks pretty nasty, doesn't it? I have a brand new one. Scored a 1/2 inch on all 6 of these. You can do this with decorative cardstock too, but most of it gets covered up by the pictures, so I didn't see any sense of wasting the decorative cardstock to. But if you wanted to, you could cut these out of double-sided decorative cardstock, and then you would save a button. There we go. We're going to fold. Just burnish that down. There we go. Fold and burnish. Fold, burnish. Now again, mine is textured cardstock, so I'm going to keep my textured part facing out. There we go. All right, and I'm going to go every other one. Oops, that one is facing the wrong way. And so is that one. Yeah. So I want my textured part out. Grab our folio again. We're going to work our way down. And I think I'm going to start with the green, actually. Okay, see, you're just going to see a little bit of that edge, but that's pretty. And I want to get kind of an idea of how far down I want this here. Now this is just approximate. I'm just kind of going to hold it in my hand just to get an idea. It's not going to be exact by any means right this second, but I want kind of a general idea of how far down this is going to go. Okay? And she's going to go just about to the bottom, so I want to start just about 1/16 of an inch from the top. Now you can tape or glue. I'm going to glue. Apparently messily. Okay. Okay. My fingers dry. All right, I'm just going to kind of eyeball center that. It's going to be about 1/4 of an inch well, maybe 1/8 of an inch from each of the decorative edge, about 1/16 of an inch down. Sorry if my head gets in your way. Not watching the screen. Glue on my hands. And glitter. That paper is letting off a lot of glitter. Check it. There we go. Your next piece, your flap is going to go right up against there. Right up against. We're going to put our glue or tape on. Put it down. Lower this to make sure that we're lined up. Looks. And then we can press it down. Now you can put a ruler down there to make sure that your edge is straight. I'm just going to try to do it without doing that. Don't press. And then line it up here. That's crooked to me. Not bad. But sometimes it's not so much if your paper is cut crooked, that can really throw you off. Okay. Let's bring this up there. Check that. That's got a little creasy in it there. It looks like it would have been off just a little bit. That one does. All right, let's see what the next one. And if it is a little off, if you have to put your next piece up on top of there a little bit to make it even, then that's what you do. And we're going to do a test fit again, just to kind of get an idea of where. And I'm going to have to on this one put it up there because this paper is cut crooked, and that's fine. We just kind of adjust as we go. If we need to, as long as it's straight. That is what is important. So by test fitting, I know that that has to go up there a little bit. So I'm going to just kind of get it in that general area to begin with. And I'll lower my thing here. Adjust my paper there. Looks good. Give it a little press. Come back in. Yeah, it is off. My cut's off or something. My cut is off. So that means that the whole thing's going to start going off. Alright. Bring this down. Oh, see, yep. These are all off. Dang, by a lot. Let's see here. Can I pull you up? Okay. What? I think my score line is off. I think my score might be off. Let me check this. All right, that one's fine. That one's fine. What is going on here? All right. I think that score is off. I do. I think this score line is off. And it doesn't take very much for it to throw the whole thing off. Because if you figure, if each one is off a little bit, by the time you reach the bottom, you're going to have a big old mess. And sometimes moving along too fast and you're scoring too fast, and something is slid off the edge there just a little bit, and it creates a big old problem. Let's see what we got there. I'm going to double check all of these just to make sure. Okay. And it's kind of funny that you wouldn't think that little tiny bit would do that, but it does, unfortunately. And that looks pretty good. But I'm already doing this, I'm checking it, so let's just make sure. Oops, got my, okay, there we go. All right. Let's try again. Piece of paper. All right. So, let's try that. All right, let's. That was kind of odd that the inside was so far off of that when you lifted it up. That was really crazy that it was so far off there. All right. Go that way. Okay. All right. Let's try again. Here. Let's save that one for the bottom. Man, oh man. Haven't had that much trouble with a waterfall in a while. Of course, when you're taping, that's when you have the problems. That looks pretty good. That is when you have the problems, is when you're taping. Get in there. Okay. Do, 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 do. Okay. Almost getting there, guys. We almost got her done. And then we can just finish up the tags, and then the whole folio will be done. And you can decorate however you want. Nope, I gotta rely on that. I gotta get this back up there. Okay. All right. Not going to worry about it as much at the top there if it looks off a little bit as I am when it's closed, because I'm not sure what his problem is today. I don't typically have that much trouble with these things like that. This one is going to have to go up just a little bit on there because it's going to fall right down on the bottom of the paper otherwise. Yeah. All right. And you can adjust that if you fall into that same problem. Looks like I should have moved up just a little bit. But I want to be able to see just a little bit of that paper, so I'm going to adjust for that by going up on that last hinge just a little bit, just so I have a small section there that is visible. Okay. There. There we go. So, there we go. So now if you want to add a few more tags in here, you can. You can even add decorative ones if you want. Let's, since we got so much leftover paper, and I do have these tags too. Let's maybe throw a couple of those in there. Yeah. Let's add just a couple of decorative tags in there, and then we will be done. If you want to embellish the outside, you can. If you want to add some bling, you can. These ones are going to be fun to cut because they're not all the same height. Let's do that. And let's do the one thing I do really like about this cutter is that metal in there, so you can see exactly where your line is going to fall. I do like that. Some other aspects of it, maybe not so much. All right, so we're going to cut this here. I don't need that. Just this one. There we go. But I think you find that with most trimmers that they work good for one thing really well, but maybe not so much for like cutting smaller sections. I have a Carl, and nice cutter, but for cutting my 12 by 12 cardstock, I don't care for it, because I have to measure everything out and put pencil lines on, because after a little over 8 inches, it doesn't give me my measurements. So, but it's a big cutter. So, I don't know. I've got all kinds of cutters around here. So we'll just add these tags in there. And I think that is it. That is all you needed. And that little 1-inch piece goes on the inside there. And you just tie it up. Like I said, if you want to, get my thumbs to work here. If you want to add some bling, you can. And just make sure, unlike me, that you have your ribbon sections even when you put it on. Just trim that down a little bit there. But that's it. Nice and simple. Give it your John Hancock and send it off. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll be back later this week with another shadow box video. Thanks for joining me. Have a good day.